Today we have a very special guest with us. Ken Grier has been a person who's been in the industry for over 20 years, focusing in brown spirits. He has many interesting successes. Between one of them has been Macallan, and he has been for many years working with them and developing a very successful business in the Edrington Group. Ken now today is helping us in the board of directors. He's a creative director for Dictador Rum. So now I'll let you in the hands of Ken Grier today.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming in. I'm going to speak quite loudly because there's a lot happening there. Apologies for those of you whose English is maybe not first language. I know a lovely lady there can certainly translate for you down there. So welcome and thank you for coming today. I'm going to talk about investment, so something a little bit different, because I firmly believe that Dictador is the future. Dictador is the new star on the investment scene in brown spirits. So I'm going to talk about some of the lessons that we've learned building wonderful brands, such as the Macallan. We've got an ex-colleague of mine there from Macallan, and Highland Park. I'm going to talk about the lessons from that, some luxury consumer motivations, and the secrets behind how to build a brand in that space, and also for you guys, how to enjoy and buy brands in that space. And you have 3 extraordinary rums in front of you today that I will take you through. So I have a passion for creative thinking. It was my joy, my pleasure to work for many years in the Macallan and also Highland Park, and it's about creativity for me. This is some of the results we had in Macallan, and Nicola and the team are continuing that marvellous work now. If you want to go and drink some great whiskies, go down to see Nicola at the Macallan booth, or Martin down there at Highland Park, my 2 great loves. We'll talk about luxury and the ingredients for building a luxury brand. So for me, it's about being different. I love this ad for Levi's, Black Levi's, when the world zigs, zag. And in Dictador, we aim to not only have the best cache of aged Colombian rum in the world, but we aim to do it in a way that's really different. It's about distinctiveness, a touch of creativity, and that gives you magic. What I call buying and making objet d'art. Higher prices give you better margin. We're about really connoisseurial people like you, and it's about extreme craft and scarcity at the heart. The luxury market's over 1.2 trillion euros. Very, very big. China is going to fuel that. It's about differentiation and advancement. Iconic brands and products. Discovering. A lot of you won't have heard about Dictador before, but after this liquid hits your lips today, you will never forget it. If we look at what's happening in ultra-premium spirits, Macallan is still the biggest, most investable whiskey brand in the world, with about 38% share. But also other brands are beginning to come into that space. Great brands like Highland Park, Springbank, Bromore, with distinctive stories, great liquid, great packs, and a real story and with scarcity. And of course, new categories like cognac, Japanese whiskey, and rum are really becoming hot. People invest, collect, and enjoy. And it's about really what you're doing today, experiencing the brands yourselves, but then the research you do, talking to the cabis, going online. It's a really interesting space. So, it's a big market. You know, in Scotch alone, in the first half year of this year, £25 million by value on the auction market in the UK alone. An investment performance that outperforms the FTSE 100, the price of gold, the VINEX wine index. However, it's about finding real value, real great specials. I go and would recommend, if you're going to see Martin, look at the Tattoo 16-year-old edition. With Nicola, go and see edition 5. And there's some really great products. Come to our booth for Dictador. See the amazing range of rums that you've got and discover for yourself. So what does it take to make a truly great investment-grade product? It's got heritage. And in Dictador, we'll see we've been around since 1913. 3 generations. Gorgeous product. This product today will be something you have never tasted in your life. You've got to have a purpose. Our purpose is to do great things, interesting things. You've got to be rare. These products you see in front of you today range from 450 euros a bottle to 925. And there's only 300 of each in the world. These are almost all sold out. This will be one of the last chances you will have to taste this great rum. It's got to be about innovation, doing things differently, and we'll tell the two masters' story and great storytelling. This is where the magic lies, right in the middle of distinctiveness and creativity. So what is at the basis of great luxury dark spirits? First thing is the aesthetic. I love Aston Martin because they talk about beauty. And this quote, the love of beauty is taste, but the creation of beauty is art. It's about bravery. And way back in Macallan when we did the Lalique series, this was $7,500 a bottle. People said, you're crazy. You can't sell a whiskey for $7,500 a bottle. If you go to Bonham's auction, the reserve price on this is £86,000 at the last auction, only 14 years after we did this. And Lalique create beautiful things in amazing categories. And this is what the Macallan, to their credit, came out with. A world record of 460,000, probably the best ultra-rare product in whiskey, and some great collectibles. So this is the sort of thing that drives success. Creativity, all across the piece, from product innovation to a beautiful new distillery. Distinctiveness, one of my favorite brands, Black Bowmore, incredibly crafted, very limited from 1964, amazing liquid. And look at the price in Black Bowmore, how that's risen. You've got to be emotional. That was a wonderful little collaboration we did back in the day at Macallan with Sir Peter Blake, who did the Sgt. Pepper Beatles album cover. And we created a box there that was effectively a museum of everything. 8 decades of his life in 8 different whiskies. You've got to have finesse. You've got to have a grand vision. Nicola will, I'm sure, love to welcome you at the Macallan Distillery. £140 million building. Just voted the best building in Scotland last Friday at the Doolin Awards. Heritage, one of my passion brands will always be Leica. A modern legend, excellent quality, innovation from mobile phones with Huawei to amazing monochrome-only cameras, and all about the art of photography. Innovation, a little project we did years ago with Macallan, with Oakley. We produced these incredible modern hip flasks. So again, bending the whole category towards a relevant and young target audience. You just got to do some things. A little thing we did with Skyfall and Macallan years ago with Mr. Bond. You got to ladder people up from really great collectibles through from things like the Cartagena bottle that we have there today, through the amazing 16-year-old Dictador, only available through Cavis in France, right up to these amazing Two Masters products. You've got to show real mastery in the people you work with. Some of the masters that we worked with on these liquids became friends of the brand, they enjoyed the whole experience, and they made truly great works of art. You've got to appeal to the next generation. Within 10 years, around about 25% to 40% of drinkers in the US will be millennials. It's incredible. It's about ownership of beautiful things. Precious, limited items. Quality all the time. Extraordinary rarity. This bottle sold for over $1 million. 1926 Macallan, the Adami version earlier this year. It's got to be about use of social media. Look at these numbers here. It's incredible. On mobile devices, there are over 3 billion people now getting information. You've got to be topical and do some great things. So what about Dictador? Why do I believe that Dictador can be the next investment grade area? Well, if you look at ultra premium rum growth, over the last 5 years, it's grown about 16% per annum. Whiskey's done great, up 10%. And why Dictador? It's the high growth category. It's the next big horizon. We have a truly authentic Colombian story. Go and see Cesar, and he'll tell you at the Dictador booth. A Colombian gentleman who knows the history. We have a fabulous, fabulous distillery, which is now disused in the jungle, and we'll talk about that later. We have an amazing new facility just south of Cartagena. We have 3 generations working with us. Outstanding liquid, really leading innovation, great collaborations, high quality in the way this bottle looks, and it really is something I'm going to invest in. So we have fine and rare, and Cesar can tell you more. From 2 masters that we'll talk about in a moment to Wixarica. We have a great rum maker in Hernan Para, 3rd generation. So if we talk about this new concept here, 3 generations, if we look at what we did with 2 masters, it was about taking truly great masters of their craft. So we have 3 whiskies here, and I'll invite you to take the first whiskey. Take the top whiskey. Yeah? So take the top whiskey there, which is a collaboration that we did with Glenfarclas. So the very top of your mat. We'll start from the top and work down. This is the most expensive of our products, 925 euros. An amazing collaboration where we took 45 years old rum. Incredibly old. How did we get to that? Well, the guys are topping up. As the evaporation happens in the warehouse, they top up only with that age of spirit, not younger spirit. So this is guaranteed 45 years of age. We took a very, very light sherry cask, a 3rd fill, to give just the right amount of character. And what you get from this is, I would say, a fantastic fusion between the rich molasses, sugarcane notes of rum, breaking into a classic Speyside, where you get those vanillins coming through, you get those characteristic high volatiles, you get an element of citrus. So to me, an incredibly layered whiskey. Coffee, breaking into leather, tobacco, and then you get the gentleness, the subtlety of Speyside coming through at the end. So a truly amazing collaboration. If you go one down in your tasting mat, if you go in the middle, go to the middle glass. This is a fantastic collaboration with Hardy's. A very, very different view, because cognac, as we all know, is about fractional blending. So we took a range of rums here. Rums that come through from 39 to 41 years of age, 10 different casks, and then we fractionally blended those into French oak. And you begin to get notes, and Martin will recognize this, you begin to get these slight turbo notes. You get these little notes breaking into smoke, breaking into richness. So for me, this is absolutely wonderful. You begin to get, again, these leathery notes breaking through into very light, gentle wood smoke. Not the characteristic perfumed peatiness that you get from Highland Park, but a different type of character. A little lighter, a little more subtle than the first Glenfarclas product. You begin to get cherries, a little bit of bubble gum, breaking into a sort of sweetness coming through and a grapiness coming from the cognac. And finally, that was 699 euros a bottle, almost all sold out now, sadly. We come to a collaboration done with Leclerc Briand, the champagne brand. It's a very, very different collaboration. We took 37-year-old rum, so this is the one at the bottom of the mat. We took this and we then put it into what was an ex-Chardonnay cask, so the Chardonnay component of the champagne process. So very subtle, and the thing that I like about this, there is almost a citrus, a liveliness. A big entry, a lot of molasses-style notes, a treacliness and a richness, breaking into a citrus and almost a sort of pétillant note at the end, something almost slightly sparkling and lively. And I thought I'd end with that one because it's typical of a fall day, typical of the autumn here in Paris, where you begin to break through the darkness of the clouds this morning into the lightness, the conviviality, and the sparkle of a late afternoon. So this is an amazing range. You know, as I say, ranging from about 450 euros to 925. We're almost all sold out. And the great news is there are 3 fantastic new collaborations on their way. We're collaborating with Barton 1792, a Sazerac bourbon, Royal Tokaj, one of the most admired Hungarian wines. We actually have Newport port, the best port, most expensive port in the world, and also Jimenez Spinola, which is principally about Pedro Jimenez ex-sherry casks. Some of these casks are 200 years old. They even have chestnut wood casks. So an incredible combination. And we're blurring these lines with these exciting innovations. We even have a limited number of trunks, a very, very small number of only 10 of these trunks for sale. And you can go and see this. If you speak nicely to Cesar, he might just show it to you at the booth. And we have a little film that will talk about the Barton collaboration. So let me play it just for you for a moment.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Our distillery's been here since as early as 1879. Built in the small valley here in central Kentucky based off of the limestone-rich water provided by over half a dozen natural springs in this valley.
How can I make a product that will accentuate the beautiful rum that you sent us? We have a wheated bourbon, a rye bourbon, and we have not a bourbon but a straight rye. It's really gratifying personally to make something new. And this has never been done before, so it's fantastic. This is one of the warehouses that we have on the property, and this is where the rum barrels are aging. We're aging through winter and through summer with no heating. There you go. Even though the rum is a great product to start with, we end up with something that's so unique and so different, I think people will love it.
Love your rum, and I love your whiskey.
This is amazing.
The friendship. We have a series of best of ranges. We have this incredible product called Wixarica, where these are handmade bottles with glass beads made in Mexico. There are only 250 of these in the world, and they're every one of them individual and handmade. Absolutely incredible with 30 to 40-year-old rum. We even took rum and we actually matured it under the ocean off northern France. You get this natural barnacles on the product. Only 48 bottles in the whole world. Now I want to finish. I don't want to take any more time on this. This is just a brief introduction into what I think is the most exciting rum in the world. The first real investment grade rum. And we actually have an incredible partnership happening at the moment. I talked about our old distillery which shut in 1990. This is now disused, and we've decided to take at the moment 17 of the world's greatest street artists and create what is the Dictador Art Masters. So let me show this short film to close with you that will tell you all about this.
Without graffiti, you wouldn't have street art. But it opened the mind to people that you can do art anywhere.
Graffiti is important because it's subversive. You're doing it because of a passion, not asking somebody. It's just a little bit of rebellion maybe, but it's important because it comes out from the heart.
Colombia is one of the most beautiful countries when it comes to nature.
Where we are, it's super unique comparing to other festivals.
Colombia in general has the second highest biological diversity of any country. So one of the biggest challenges that we as conservationists face is getting people to connect with and care about nature and conservation.
So by doing something in this place particularly, we're trying to raise awareness and let people know that this kind of space exists and it needs attention and it needs protection.
You know, new festivals are born every year and every city, but they're born as a result of an evolution of what's already been there before, so it's just legitimizing it. Whereas here, this is something completely fresh.
To find a space like this and to make nature and nature's ambassadors present here and to have a place and to be a point of reference for the cities and towns around here, but also for these ecosystems that we're talking about, I think that's incredibly powerful.
It has this kind of special feel to it, you know, like use the environment that's there and turn it into something else and bringing back life. And it's just amazing to see this kind of abandoned place in the middle of nowhere and how it's getting like a new life, you know.
Pretty an extreme place to come and paint.
They're all like kids in a candy store, you know, it's like go in and do what you want, you know. Our whole lives we've been told no, you know, and here is everything is yes.